Hey Trailblazers, think you've got a good handle on the states with the most Native Americans? Let's try a little pop quiz. Which state counts nearly 1 in 5 of its total residents as Alaska Native or American Indian? Nope, it's not Arizona. And no, it's not Oklahoma either, as significant as its native population is. The answer sits 1,000 miles north of the lower 48 hype, cradled by glaciers and vast wilderness. Welcome to Mystic Trails. Today, we're flipping the lens. Most people hear Native American population and immediately picture the desert Southwest. But here's where raw totals can seriously trick you. California, for instance, actually boasts more Native residents than any other state, but they only make up about 2% of its massive population. We're focusing not on raw head counts, but on concentration, the percentage of Native people within a state's total population. We're ranking the 10 states where Native people truly make up the biggest slice of the pie. And trust me, the results are going to scramble your mental map of Indian country. Let's count them down and prepare to have your perceptions challenged. Washington, the evergreen state, quietly slips onto our list at number 10, and it might just be our first surprise. Just over 4 in 100 residents here identify as Native, but here's the kicker. That modest-sounding figure still tops every single state east of the Mississippi. Think about that for a second. The same iconic shoreline that gifted the world grunge music is also home to 19 federally recognized tribes. A rich, vibrant tapestry ranging from the coastal Makah, who once masterfully hunted gray whales in their legendary cedar canoes, to the powerful Yakama Nation, whose ancestral lands gracefully cover most of the Cascade foothills. And it's not just rural. Cities like Seattle and Tacoma add a significant urban Native footprint. The census clearly shows more Native people living off-reservation than on, a powerful living reminder that powwow drums echo in city parks too, not just tucked away in remote canyons. It's a vibrant living culture right there in plain sight, often overlooked. Just nudging ahead of its northern neighbor, Washington, is Oregon. 9 distinct tribes proudly call the Beaver State home, including the resilient Klamath tribes whose homeland spans a vast volcanic plateau, sometimes affectionately called Oregon's Outback. Indian country here is surprisingly easy to miss if you stick to Portland's trendy coffee shops and craft breweries. But head east past the majestic Cascades, and you'll soon hit the Warm Springs Reservation, where highway signs not only greet you in English, but also in Sahaptin, a powerful testament to language preservation. And here's a fascinating, if somewhat uncomfortable, historical tidbit. Oregon's state constitution once controversially banned Black and mixed-race residents, yet it simultaneously recognized tribal treaty rights. It's stark proof that history is messy, contradictory, and anything but boring. A complex story etched into the very landscape. Wyoming's global claim to fame might be the stunning geysers of Yellowstone National Park, but nearly 5% of its sparse population is Native, making it a significant presence. This population is primarily made up of the Northern Arapaho and Eastern Shoshone, who share the expansive Wind River Reservation. And when we say expansive, we mean it. That reservation is larger than Rhode Island and Delaware combined, so while the state's total headcount is small, concentration truly is king here. If you drive along Highway 287, you'll pass charming roadside stands selling authentic fry bread and intricate beadwork under the shadow of snow-dusted peaks. Living, breathing evidence that the cowboy state is also, unequivocally, an Indian state. Whether the romanticized Hollywood westerns ever bothered to admit it or not. It's a powerful cultural landscape thriving amidst the rugged beauty. Ah, Arizona. Finally, a state your brain probably already filed under definitely Native, and you'd be absolutely right. Arizona's percentage lands at a solid 7th place on our list. But don't let that fool you. The raw numbers of native residents here are absolutely huge. We're talking about the iconic Navajo Nation sprawling majestically into Utah and New Mexico, plus 22 federally recognized tribes. From the resilient Tohono O'odham along the scorching Sonoran border to the powerful White Mountain Apache high in the serene Ponderosa Pines. Flagstaff, a vibrant city, sits at the foot of the San Francisco Peaks, sacred mountains that, believe it or not, ended up in a Supreme Court case over snowmaking with reclaimed wastewater. The clear takeaway here: a high percentage combined with a huge headcount equals a cultural gravity and historical depth most other states simply can't match. It's a land rich with ancient stories and modern struggles. North Dakota's recent oil boom certainly drew thousands of newcomers, dramatically altering its demographics. Yet native people still punch significantly above their weight, making up a remarkable 7.2% of the population. The Standing Rock Sioux made international headlines in 2016 when the Dakota Access Pipeline dispute transformed a quiet prairie camp into a global protest stage, showcasing incredible resilience and unity. But drill down further, beyond the headlines, and you'll find tribes like the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara managing billions in energy revenue, all while powerfully reviving ancient corn varieties. Their ancestors grew centuries before Lewis and Clark even showed up asking for directions. It's a compelling story of economic power meeting deep cultural roots, a blend of tradition and modern enterprise. All right, time for a quick trivia break. We've talked about cultural and historical impact, but what about political power? Here's your question. Which state on our upcoming list was the first to send a Native American representative to a presidential cabinet-level position? Think about it, and we'll reveal the answer at the end of the trail. Montana proudly earns its nickname Big Sky Country, but honestly, it could just as easily be called Many Nations Country. A significant 9.3% of its residents are Native, representing 8 distinct tribal nations and 12 sprawling reservations. If you drive the famous High Line, that vast stretch of highway across northern Montana, you'll effortlessly pass the Rocky Boys, Fort Belknap, and Northern Cheyenne reservations all in a single afternoon. What's truly progressive and commendable here is that the state constitution mandates teaching tribal histories in every single public school. A rarity, especially east of the Continental Divide. Plus, the flagship university in Missoula offers a Native American studies program that's actually older than half its professors. If you want to see policy truly meeting pride, Montana offers an unparalleled, living classroom of indigenous strength and self-determination. South Dakota confidently breaks the impressive 10% threshold with room to spare, landing it firmly in our top 4. Picture the granite faces of Mount Rushmore, a national icon, and then look just a few miles west. The Lakota Sioux are still, to this day, fiercely fighting the Black Hills land claim, which the federal government itself calls the longest-running civil case in U.S. history. Beyond the courtroom battles, vibrant powwows like the massive annual gathering in Rapid City fill the fairgrounds with the mesmerizing swirl of jingle-dress dancers and the powerful, resonant beats of drum groups that literally rattle your ribcage. Tourism boards might push their catchy slogan of great faces, great places, but the local knowing joke is Great Plains, Great Lakota, and the demographic numbers unequivocally back that joke up. It's a state where history is very much alive and still being written. Claiming a well-deserved third place is New Mexico, a land where Pueblo, Apache, and Navajo communities thrived and flourished, predating the Spanish by centuries. Take a walk through Santa Fe's historic plaza, and you're literally treading on 400-year-old trade routes that once moved precious turquoise, vibrant parrot feathers, and even exotic chocolate. Today, The state is home to 23 distinct tribes, each operating with its own sovereign government, a complex and beautiful mosaic of governance. So, 12.4% of the population might sound like an abstract number, but in the Roundhouse capital, it translates directly into very real, tangible political power. Oklahoma is, in many ways, Indian Territory rebooted, a testament to resilience and the unintended consequences of history. A staggering one in 6 residents here is Native, a profound legacy of the forced removals that tragically ended with dozens of Eastern nations resettled on land once cruelly labeled unfit for white settlement. The irony practically writes itself. The government tried to create a wasteland, and instead accidentally created a cultural supercluster of unparalleled diversity and strength. Drive through Tulsa, and you'll pass signs for the Cherokee Nation, the Osage Nation, the Muskogee Nation, all sovereign governments running their own hospitals, colleges, and even their own cable channels. Meanwhile, the state capitol dome itself is topped by a powerful statue called the Guardian, a Native warrior holding a spear that symbolically points toward the Supreme Court, the very site of the monumental 2020 McGirt decision that reaffirmed reservation boundaries covering almost half the state. Try finding a more dramatic reversal of fortune, a more profound act of reclamation in all of American history. It's a truly astounding story. And here we are, the undisputed champion, Alaska. This is where nearly 1 in 5 residents identifies as Alaska Native, a truly astounding concentration. Forget the stereotypical teepees. Here you'll encounter the rich traditions of sealskin boats, intricate whalebone masks, and 20 distinct languages spoken across vast landscapes. From Tlingit in the lush rainforest south to Inupiaq above the frozen Arctic Circle. The state's constitution explicitly recognizes Native subsistence rights, a fundamental aspect of life here. Furthermore, village corporations, born from the landmark 1971 Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act, collectively control more land than some entire U.S. states. Anchorage, the state's largest city, hosts the country's largest annual Native gathering, a vibrant festival where high schoolers proudly dance in magnificent button blanket robes under the ethereal glow of the northern aurora skies. If concentration is our metric, Alaska isn't just number 1. It's in a class of its own, a powerful, self-sustaining world of indigenous culture. So, there you have it. The 10 states where Native Americans truly punch heaviest by percentage. We've journeyed from Washington all the way up to Alaska. While raw population still absolutely matters, California, Texas, and Arizona definitely top that list. Concentration tells a much richer, more nuanced story. It's a story of reservations the size of small nations, of urban enclaves diligently keeping ancient languages alive, and of political clout that can flip elections and halt pipelines. The real, living map of Indian country isn't just about where people live. It's about how their cultures thrive and how their presence shapes the very fabric of our nation. Hit that like button if this reshuffled your mental geography. Share it with that friend who still thinks Native American ends at the Grand Canyon, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Mystic Trails. Oh, and before we go, the answer to our trivia question: the state that sent the first Native American to serve as a presidential cabinet secretary is New Mexico. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next trail.